Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to another episode. Today, we're going to talk about navigating tumultuous times. Now, these times are probably not only are they the weirdest, but but we're coming up on really difficult times, right? And right now, it's really tough because groceries are expensive, gas is gas is stagnant right now because I think the Biden administration has a pause on all the oil, the oil exchange process. So that's why if you see gas going down, that's why. I think that's only temporary, but it might go back up again, which it probably will, and it probably will relatively soon. But yeah, it's really tough. It's been hard on a lot of people. It's been really hard on me, and but this might only be the beginning. And look, this isn't me predicting. I say I've adopted this new saying, which is that that things can get a lot better just as easily as they could get a lot worse, because life is unpredictable like that. It's, like you never really know what to expect. But nonetheless, we need to learn to be able to adapt to really difficult times better than we have been. And I don't think it's our fault necessarily. I think older generations, my parents, grandparents grew up under really tough parents that beat them a lot, that stuffed them in the closets, that that just didn't really know how to love, right? Sort of like how we're loved by our own parents, right? And so because my grand it was my grandparents' generation were the worst, and then my parents' generation weren't that much better, and like generation after generation, like we're all trying to get better, right? We're all trying to get better for the sake of the generations after us. If I have kids one day, I want them to be a whole lot better off than I was when I was growing up. Not to say that I want to make it easier on them necessarily. There are certain things that I'm just not going to give my kids if the time ever comes. There's certain I am going to be a little bit tough, especially when it comes to boys. But for the most part, I'm trying to learn from the older generation's mistakes, right? And so we adapt, we learn, we evolve. That's how generations have always worked. But here's the problem with wanting to get better is that people mistake that, or they misconstrue that with enabling other people, or with making it easier on other people. And we have it too easy in this country. We have it so ridiculously easy that I think to a certain extent it might be really bad for our society for everything to be this easy, because it gives us the illusion that life is easy, which is not, right? We know, I know people that are over the age of 30 at least know how hard life can be, right? But I think it could be a little bit harder. I really don't think that we've had a hard life necessarily in the last 100 years. Because 100 years ago, if think about it like this, people are ordering their food via Uber Eats or food deliveries, right? If you wanted food 100 years ago, you had to go out and kill something, right? And grocery stores were very few and far in between. So you had to either plant your food, or you had to go out and kill your food, and that's your food, right? You had to go out and hunt deer. You had to if you wanted to get warm during cold weather, you had to learn to make a fire, right? You had to learn to do basic construction, right? To build a house that will be able to sustain warmth. Just certain things like that, right? That we don't do anymore, and because of that, we have a really hard time adapting to really hard, challenging times. And I'm guilty of this myself. I it's very easy for me to fall into the trap of too much comfort and instant gratification because of all the services that are right at our fingertips, that are just right there and there for the taking. But I think we need to learn how to fare better with hard times, because let me tell you, and look, I'm no saint myself. I'm not saying that I don't gripe, that I don't bitch, that I don't complain, or that I don't start to fold when shit starts to get kind of difficult. But people, they just become really just entitled now. They've just become too soft. They've become too apathetic, and we need to change that. I'll give you guys a quick example. I had a guy yesterday that he was reading the poster that I pinned up to the passenger seat, right? Because when I go out and drive, that's what I do. When people come in my car, they see that and they can choose to read it or choose not to read it, or they just enjoy their ride, right? I mean, they're grown adults, but this guy brought up something to me about putting all like both of my social media platforms into a QR code. Like, really? Like, are you fucking serious right now? Like, so it went from making my my poster shorter, because before I used to make them too long. I used to write them out. I have really shitty handwriting, as you guys probably know. And I would write sentences, and it would be too long and so I changed that. I adapted, and I said, hey, you know what? This might be too long for people to read, and so I'll try and make it shorter. And so I did. And then I've been printing them out, just because I want to make it easier on my viewers or my supporters as much as I can, right? And I'll look into this QR code stuff and see how that works. But I mean, man, like, is it really? Is it really that hard to type in names, to type in my Instagram handle, to type in my YouTube name? I mean, is that really where we're at a point in our society? And this isn't some like millennial or Gen Z, or this is a fucking guy in his 30s, and he's so entitled that he doesn't feel like he needs to read, like look up my social media platforms, right? Like, he needs a QR code. Like, listen, if you're somebody that feels like you need a QR code to look up my shit, well then my spiritual development isn't for you, my guy. I'm sorry. I don't. I'm running out of patience and tolerance for people like that. If I don't know if you guys can tell, but anyway, guys, we need to learn how to fare better with hard times. And look, I'm guilty, probably more than anybody, about this. But guys, we need to start figuring that out soon. And I know I went on a long rant and I went too long. Sorry about that, guys. That's just how some of these videos go. But anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you liked this episode, and if you did, make sure that you share this with your friends and your family. Subscribe to me on YouTube at Collectively Fearless. My Instagram handle is itsmatty_ice, where you'll have to look them up on your phone. But if you do, you'll be able to find them easily, and you'll find a lot of great content on both those platforms. So anyway, guys, until tomorrow, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you soon.